Hey everyone, welcome back to Lammis Creations DIY. My name is Tammy. Today I am participating in Heidi Sounboul's Winter Challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. All the crafts are going towards a winter theme. So with that being said, let's start crafting. For this first craft, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sock. It's gray and it's got a little bit of sparkle in it. And we're going to stick it into a jar and make sure to open up the inside. Then we're going to take some, I'm using these beans, mixed beans. You can use rice, you can use fluff from a pillow, anything that you want to use to stuff the sock. I ended up using this whole jar of beans. And I just keep filling it until I like the way it is. Then taking a piece of string, I'm going to tie it off. I'm going to take the top part of that sock and just fold it down over, just like so. Taking another sock that corresponds with it, but is white and gray, we're going to stick it on top, and then we're going to cut the toe parts off of this sock. Then taking another piece of string, we're going to tie it off at the top, leaving just about an inch above. Cut off the little little hangy thingies there, and then I just cut down the top a bit to make it a little more shaggy. Like a toque on top. Now, taking some leftover fur that I have, I'm going to cut it down to make it look like a beard. I'm just going to angle the two sides so it comes down into a point. And then you'll see a little bit later on, I cut off that point a little more because it was too pointy. Taking some hot glue, we're just going to glue that into place. And if you haven't noticed yet, we're going to make a little winter gnome. This is where I clip off that extra little point. Didn't look too much like a beard, and now it does. And then glue it down into place. Taking some spackling and this big bead that I have, I'm going to fill the little hole and let that dry. Mind you, I didn't let it dry long enough, so you can still kind of see there's a divot hole there, but that's okay. I'm good with it. I take some white acrylic paint the top part of this star, and then, with the same brush, I take some silver paint and I just highlight the edges with it, just to give it a little more difference. I take some white acrylic paint with a tiny drop of pink and I paint his nose. I have this little extra piece of a burlap bag, so I drew out a mitt, folded it in half, and cut two. Now we're going to glue on his nose, right there above his beard, and then we're going to glue his hat down around his nose and all the way around the back. Taking the star that we painted, we're going to glue it right there in the middle, right on top of his beard. Then, taking the two little mitts that we created, we're going to take another couple pieces of that sock that's his hat, and we're going to glue those on the top of the mitt so they match his hat. A little bit of a fuzzy embellishment. And then we glue him into place so it looks like he's holding on to that snowflake. So cute. I like making gnomes. They're too cute. I took that same burlap bag and the part that was all nice and finished, and I'm going to wrap it around the top so I can hide that string. And then it also goes along with his mitts, so his mitts and his hats match. Then I found some sticker snowflakes. I'm going to add a few, and with that, this project is done. On to the second craft. I picked up these 3 foam rings from Dollarama. It was $3 for the package. What we're going to do is, taking this fur roll, we're going to wrap all 3 rings. Just taking some hot glue, gluing it down into place, and you're just going to wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap all the way around. When I get down to the end of this fur roll, I just glue it into place, take another one, and start in the same spot where I ended, so that they look like they're just one continuous one. And this is how it looks. I do the same thing to the other two rings. This is how they turn out. Now, taking some thick wire, I'm going to first, I thread it underneath, but first I glue the two together, and then taking that wire, I wrap it around about 3 or 4 times, and then I tighten it tightly on the back. Then taking another piece of that fur, cut it in half, and I'm going to wrap it around that wire so it hides it. Now taking that little round one, I was going to put it on top as a head, but it didn't look right, so I glued it on top of the other one. I have this piece of pajama. It's blue with looks like bears on it. Going to glue the two edges together, flip it inside right. Excuse me. I'm going to glue down, there was a little piece there that was all kind of wonky, so I'm going to glue it down so it looks a little better. And then we're going to attach it to his head. For his hat. Gluing down the back, all the way around the rim. And then we scrunch it up in the middle. Take a pipe cleaner and tie it off up there. Then we'll cut off all the extra bits there with our scissors. Now I found this ornament. It's an orange ornament. We're just going to thread it through in the back and hot glue it into place. My original thought for this was a snowman, right? But after I made it and looked at it, it kind of looks like a bear on his face. So you can either have it as a snowman or have it as a winter bear. Why not? Taking this pretty blue shimmery ribbon, we're going to wrap it around its neck for a scarf and hot glue it into place as well. And this here I should have done before I did the ribbon, but we take another piece of that wire, wrap it onto itself, and then I hot glue it underneath the ribbon, and that will be where you hang it. And with that, this project is done. On to the third craft. I found this board in my stash. It was already colored this color, but I gave it a good sanding on the front and back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my baking soda and house paint mixture and just give it a rough coat. I'm not looking for any perfection, just giving it a nice little coat on top. Taking this fuzzy blankie, or bag I should say, I'm going to take out the string and then cut it down part way. Not fully open, but just a little bit. Then I take a cap to my spray glue and I'm going to draw on 5 circles, and then I use my tape for 5 big circles. And then I cut them all out. And there they all are. Now, using one of the small circles as a template, I'm going to take little pieces of fabric, glue down an edge for a seam, and then I'm going to cut it down and glue the corners down into like a triangle. And I do that 5 times. Taking the big ones, we're going to lay them out on the board. And then we're going to take the small ones and match them with the big ones. Every one is going to be a little bit shorter than the other. Now I use this spray glue, and don't do what I do. See how I'm holding it and spraying it? Don't do that. My hand was so sticky, like watch. Yeah, my fingers were so sticky and stuck together. It was unbelievable. So don't do that. So then I did it on the board, sprayed it down, flipped it over, and I did that for all the snowmen. Taking their little hats, we're going to glue them on top of their heads. For all 5. And then I add pom-poms to the top of their hats. Blue for the little ones and white ones for the two big ones. Taking the corresponding color of the socks and the fabric, we're going to give each of them a scarf. Just folding in the edges with some hot glue, and then we hot glue it into place. Just like so. Then I went out into my yard and found some little tiny sticks, cut them into pieces, and we're going to glue it onto their bodies for the snowman's arms. Every snowman gets a stick, or 2 sticks, I guess. You need 2 hands, arms. Then with my left hand, yes, with my left hand, I'm going to write in my words. I didn't want it to be super perfect and all nice and neat. I wanted it kind of wonky and snowman-like the snowman wrote it. So I used my left hand and I wrote in the bros. And then using my paint marker, I trace over it. Not bad for my left hand. Taking these foam snowflakes, we're going to hot glue them all over the board. Just in places here and there. We got some blue ones and some white ones. And then we're going to flip it over and add a hanger. Taking some heavier duty wire, we're going to measure out how much we need. Clip it off. And then I use my heavy duty staple gun. I staple it down into place, both ends, and then I fold the wire up, staple it again, fold it down, staple it again. This way it won't slip out. And with that being done, this project is done. I love this one. It's the Bro Snowman family. Mom, Dad, and 3 boys. I hope everyone enjoyed those crafts. I certainly enjoyed making them. We always need something that goes in between Christmas and Valentine's, so that's where all these winter crafts come along into play. I will have Heidi's channel link in the description box below, along with the playlist with all the other creators who have joined in on this challenge. So I do ask you to please go and check everybody out. When you go to another person's channel, let them know I sent you and I say hi. I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!